For more than 300 years, one name has divided historians like no other: Aurangzeb. To some, he was a disciplined emperor who expanded the Mughal Empire to its greatest size and lived a remarkably simple life despite ruling one of the richest empires on earth. To others, he was a controversial ruler whose policies changed the course of Indian history and remain fiercely debated even today. So who was the real Aurangzeb? A hero, a villain, or a ruler far more complex than either label? In this documentary, we'll explore the historical evidence, separate myths from facts, and uncover the story behind one of history's most controversial emperors. Aurangzeb was born on November 3, 1618, in Dahod, in present-day India. He was the third son of Emperor Shah Jahan and Empress Mumtaz Mahal, whose memory inspired the construction of the world-famous Taj Mahal. Unlike many Mughal princes, Aurangzeb preferred a life of discipline over luxury. He devoted much of his time to studying the Quran, Islamic law, military strategy, and state administration. From a young age, he proved himself to be a brave commander. He governed several important provinces, including the Deccan and Gujarat, gaining valuable experience in politics and warfare. Many people admired his intelligence, courage, and simple lifestyle. Historical accounts describe him as an emperor who avoided unnecessary extravagance and even earned money by copying the Quran by hand and sewing prayer caps for his personal expenses. But the Mughal Empire was entering a dangerous period. When Emperor Shah Jahan fell seriously ill, a fierce struggle for the throne erupted among his sons. That conflict would change the destiny of the Mughal Empire forever. In 1657, Emperor Shah Jahan fell seriously ill. Across the Mughal Empire, rumors spread that the emperor was dying. His four sons, Durrashirko, Shah Shuja, Murad Bakhsh, and Aurangzeb, each believed they had the right to rule. The empire was suddenly thrown into a brutal war of succession. Brother fought against brother in a conflict that would determine the future of one of the world's greatest empires. Durrashirko, the eldest son, was his father's favorite and the expected heir. But Aurangzeb was an experienced military commander with remarkable political skill. In 1658, the two armies met in the decisive Battle of Samagar. Aurangzeb's forces defeated Durrashirko, changing the course of Mughal history forever. Soon after, Aurangzeb became the sixth Mughal emperor. Shah Jahan spent the rest of his life under confinement in Agra Fort, while Durrashirko was captured and executed after being accused of treason. Aurangzeb now ruled one of the richest and most powerful empires on earth, but his greatest challenges were only beginning. As emperor, Aurangzeb inherited one of the most powerful empires in the world. But unlike his predecessors, he believed that strict discipline and strong central authority were essential to maintaining the empire. During his nearly 49-year reign, the Mughal Empire expanded farther than ever before. Through long military campaigns in the Deccan, it reached its greatest territorial extent, stretching across most of the Indian subcontinent. Aurangzeb was known for his simple lifestyle. Historical sources describe him as avoiding luxurious living, and he is often said to have paid for some of his personal expenses through copying the Quran and sewing prayer caps. However, his reign remains one of the most debated in South Asian history. Some historians argue that his religious and political policies increased tensions within the empire. Others believe many popular stories about him are exaggerated, incomplete, or interpreted differently depending on the historical source. Questions surrounding the reimposition of the jizya tax, conflicts involving some temples, and his military campaigns continue to be discussed and debated by scholars today. For this reason, Aurangzeb is remembered not only as one of the Mughal Empire's most powerful rulers, but also as one of its most controversial. More than 3 centuries after his death, Aurangzeb remains one of the most debated rulers in history. Some historians describe him as a disciplined administrator and an exceptionally capable military leader who expanded the Mughal Empire to its greatest size. They point to his personal simplicity, administrative focus, and determination to strengthen imperial authority. Other historians argue that some of his religious and political decisions contributed to growing unrest in parts of the empire. They suggest that prolonged wars and internal conflicts weakened the Mughal state, creating challenges that later emperors struggled to overcome. Modern historians often emphasize that understanding Aurangzeb requires examining multiple sources rather than relying on a single narrative. His reign was complex, and different communities and historians have interpreted it in different ways. History is rarely black and white. Great rulers can achieve remarkable successes while also making decisions that remain controversial for generations. Perhaps the real question isn't whether Aurangzeb was a hero or a villain, but whether one label alone can truly describe such a complex historical figure. So, who was the real Aurangzeb? Was he a hero who expanded the Mughal Empire to its greatest size, lived a disciplined life, and strengthened the administration? Or was he a ruler whose policies and long military campaigns created challenges that continued long after his reign? The historical record contains evidence for different interpretations, and historians continue to debate his legacy. Understanding Aurangzeb requires looking at multiple sources, the political context of his time, and the complexity of the Mughal Empire. History is rarely as simple as calling someone a hero or a villain. What remains certain is that Aurangzeb was one of the most influential rulers in South Asian history. His decisions shaped the Mughal Empire and continue to be discussed centuries after his death. The question is no longer what people believed about Aurangzeb. The real question is, after hearing the evidence, what do you think? Was Aurangzeb a hero, a villain, or simply one of history's most complex emperors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Empyrean Vault for more fascinating stories from world history. Because history isn't just about the past, it helps us understand the present. Thanks for watching.